Manga.
My name is Tanami. I'm out with my high school friend, full-time worker, and mother, Nanako. It has been about a year since we last met. Hey, Nanako. Been a minute.
I've been so busy. Thanks for coming out. I have a lot I want to talk about, so I'm gonna keep you hostage for a while.
We went to a bar that I regularly went to and started drinking. So, what is it that you wanted to talk about?
Well...
Nanako lived in a house near the apartments I lived in with her husband and her 3-year-old son. There was a kindergarten nearby and it was a great place to raise kids.
Ah, good morning, Nanako-san. You're working today too? Must be tough with both parents working.
And this was Doromi. She lived 2 houses down. She was considered a sort of a boss character amongst the mothers, and everyone was always kissing her ass. The houses were all pretty open, so you could see the inside of the yard fairly easily, but Nanako would often see the moms at Doromi's yard, with their kids playing ball or running around. When Nanako moved here, she went to say hello to Doromi.
Is your child in daycare? We all make our kids go to kindergarten. I'm sure our kids won't be able to play much since we're going to be on different days.
Well, that was her first impression, so she wasn't very good with Doromi. To make things worse, the water and electricity were extremely expensive after they moved. They were in the same city, so it shouldn't really change, but it was at least twice as expensive as before. One day...
My head hurts this morning. Can you send him off to daycare today?
Sure, you got plenty of PTO. Why don't you just take it off? Relax.
Maybe it was stress from the move, but she felt sick, so she took medicine and went to bed. After they left, Nanako was falling asleep when she heard sounds coming from outside. The kindergarten was in summer break, so maybe Doromi had invited friends over or something. She didn't really think much of it. About an hour later, she woke up and felt much better. She was about to get out of bed when she heard a large bang on a window. What? What the hell was that? Nanako was afraid, so she slowly crept to the window to peek outside. She noticed that all of the neighborhood kids were in her yard. They had even put a small pool out. The hose was coming from the tap outside. Some kids were on the wooden deck outside, soaking the table and chairs, playing games and seeing who could spit their seeds farther. The pool had a small ball, and there was a clear mark on the window of a ball hitting the window. It was most likely that ball. Doromi and 4 other groups of moms were all there in their little camping chairs, talking and having fun. They even had a bunch of chargers plugged into the wall, and they were charging their phones.
I'm so glad we found a yard that we can use when we wanted. You're so incredible, Doremi-san! I didn't know unlimited applied to water, not just phone data. Oh, let's bring out the hot plate during lunch and have a nice little yakiniku. I don't want to bring charcoal and burn the yard. I was worried last year, but I'm sure she won't notice. She's always out at work and never comes home till it's dark. If she smells charcoal, we can just say that we had a barbecue in our yard.
She heard that conversation in her yard, and the kids started having water balloon fights. The yard was filling up with bits and pieces of water balloons. The water was running the whole time. The moms weren't scolding the kids at all. Well, they of course didn't try to stop the water either. That's why the water bill was so high. She was so furious. She backed away from the window and went upstairs before calling the cops.
There are people who are trespassing in my yard, so please come right away.
She took her phone and started recording from upstairs. The police showed up quickly. The mothers were all surprised by the siren and stood up. The kids were excited about the police car.
We received a call of trespassing at this residence. Do any of you live here?
Doromi and the group were clearly shaken up. The police were extremely suspicious of their behavior, so they rang the doorbell. She opened the door to answer the police, and Doromi jumped up in surprise.
What? Why are you here? I thought you went to work!
Are you the resident of this house?
Yes, here's my license and my address.
The police officer checked the license, and she showed her recordings.
These people had no right to enter my property. I think you can look it up, but they've been doing this for 3 years now. They've been using my power and water.
Doremi and her little group were all pale blue.
No, you said we could use the yard freely, right, guys?
Doremi turned to her little group of moms, but they were terrified to lie in front of a police officer, so they just fell silent.
I've never said such a thing. Did we have some kind of contract? Something that you can definitively show as proof that I gave you permission?
Doremi fell silent at how angry Nanako was. Doremi and friends were all loaded into a car and taken to the station. Afterwards, Nanako hired a lawyer and filed a formal report. In return for canceling the charges against them, she was asking for 3 years' worth of electricity and utility charges. They still didn't seem to understand the hot water they were in, so she sent them legal documents. 2 of the moms immediately came for settlement, but Doremi and her friend had completely lost touch with reality.
Come on, we're neighbors. Let's get along.
And they were insane. They brought some snacks and tried to call it a day.
Sure. Let's take it to court to make it clear how friendly we all are then.
Their husbands showed up shortly after, dragging their wives to apologize. Doremi was still too proud to look Nanako in the face and apologize. She was looking away the whole time while apologizing. As a result, Doremi and her best friend got a divorce. They both agreed that there was no way they could live with a crazy wives like them. Because of their past, the courts gave full custody to the fathers. The other 2 had their mother-in-laws move in with them to watch over their every move. They also paid Nanako back for all the water and utility bills over 3 years. I can't believe it! I remember your water bill being really high.
Yeah, I'm actually doing pretty good now after receiving extra money for damages. I'll buy today.
Yay! Thank you. Wait, do I need to sign a contract or something?
You're a friend, so no. You've listened to me vent for a while.
I'm glad everything worked out. There are good people in the neighborhood, but there are some people like Doremi who are insane too. It was definitely a vicarious learning experience.
Thank you for watching all the way to the end. What did you think of today's episode? Leave a comment and let me know your thoughts on today's story. And if you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe!